Starsand Island is releasing just around the corner on February 11th, and with this excitement brings questions and curiosity. But fortunately for us, the producer of the game has shared some new details about what we can expect. Hello friends, Sarah Sunstone here, and welcome back to Thinking Out Loud. Today, I'll be sharing my thoughts on a new series of official questions and answers from Starsand Island on topics of combat, farming, cooking, decorating, and more. As always, if you're unfamiliar with this upcoming life simulation game, I'll have a playlist with tons of content that you can enjoy, linked in the description to bring you up to speed. Otherwise, please shine that lovely like button if you're excited for the release, and make sure to subscribe to my channel with your notifications on so you don't miss out on updates, gameplay, and more. Otherwise, without any further ado, let's get right into it. So as previously mentioned, this Q&A was with the producer of Starsand Island, which kicked off with the following statement. There have been so many new islanders discovering the game, and with this excitement comes a stronger sense of responsibility and motivation to make the game the best it can be. At the moment, the game's final closed test is running in parallel. To ensure that every step forward is solid, the team is fully focused on collecting player feedback and using it to guide our final round of polishing. We do not simply want to release a game. We hope to deliver a warm countryside fairy tale for the young at heart. This is the goal we are working towards with all of our efforts, and to keep you in the loop, we've put together a Q&A to answer some of the most asked questions lately. So that brings us into the Q&A, starting with question number 1, which is, can I progress through the game without combat? Now the short answer is yes, absolutely. For those who don't like the gameplay of combat, we've got you covered. So as a little bit of a refresher before we go further into the answer of this question, in Starsand Island you select from different professions. There's farming, ranching, fishing, crafting, and adventuring. So adventuring is connected to combat. You can select multiple professions, you can do them all, but back to the answer. For those who want to go down the adventurer path, players will actually be given 2 main options. One is to use ranged weapons, such as slingshots or the bow and arrow. The other is to craft automated combat robots, which means if you don't enjoy combat, you can rely on those robots to handle battles and still progress normally. They further shared that there is no situation where you must fight personally in order to move forward. They added combat rather to enrich the overall experience, so the game does not become only about farming and crafting. Their goal is to combine different playstyles and allow players to choose how they want to advance, with freedom and flexibility being core parts of the game's design. So I think this is excellent news. I personally enjoy combat. Do I want it in every game I play? No, not necessarily. It really comes down to my mood and how fun the system is. But I do appreciate having aspects of challenge and stakes, even in my cozy games, as long as it's not really like crossing into the line of something that's stressing me out. And for me, combat is more of an exciting challenge than a stressor. But again, it depends on how the system is designed and how fun and fluid and well polished it is. Do I think every cozy game needs combat? No, absolutely not. Do I think sometimes it's an unnecessary addition? Yes, absolutely. But in this case, I'm really grateful that they've thought of many different types of players and are wanting to offer a lot of variety in the gameplay with choices and options. So even if you want to go down the path of the adventurer in addition to the other profession paths, you don't exactly have to do it fighting, yourself. You can craft these robots that will take on the battles. You can still explore the moonlit forest and collect resources like ore and such, but you don't have to go into battles yourself if you don't want to. If you do, then you have this gameplay to enjoy. So hopefully that also reassures many of you who I know are concerned about, will I have to do the combat? Will there be other options? But also those of you who are really excited to do the combat and don't want that to be taken away. So I think hopefully everyone will be pleased in this situation. Again, really happy the team thought this through and are offering these sorts of options. Now, question number 2 asks if there will be climbing or diving, and what about more vehicles and activities? So, kind of casting a wide net here, which, hey, I appreciate because we'll see what they tell us. So the answer here, we'll start with diving. They said, to be honest, they actually had a full diving system in an early prototype, and they even toyed with the idea of underwater farming. However, diving turned out to be incredibly complex to get just right, so they decided to put it on hold for now so they can focus on quality, but they would love to revisit it in a future DLC or a sequel. Now, honestly, I think this is a great decision. Adding an entire separate underwater farm and environment to explore adds so much additional scope to the game that could definitely have some payoffs in the long term, but could also harm the development of the base game. So I would much rather see this as a future DLC if they wanted to go through with it than, kind of push for it at launch. So I think they made the right call on this one. Now, as for climbing, they want to keep controls accessible for everyone, so they're avoiding any heavy action game mechanics. So instead of climbing walls, you'll explore new areas by unlocking islands and discovering new paths. I think when this sort of a system is done well, it's very satisfying and almost a little bit puzzly. It can be really fun and rewarding to discover ways to unlock a new path without, just climbing to the highest point to find a way around obstacles. It is interesting because it looks like they're going to have a glider, which usually is coupled with climbing, but I can see how this would just be a nice way to get down from great heights after you've found the pathway there on foot. And then for the third part of the question, when it comes to vehicles, they already have a wide variety planned, including riding pigs, alpacas, and ostriches, as well as sea vehicles and floating platforms. A sea vehicle could be like a boat or a jet ski type of situation. If you're curious what a floating platform might be, they actually shared a little bit of a preview of this in a different version of their newest trailer, as you can see here. Apparently, the team is also considering time-based racing challenges and even multiplayer activities built around vehicles in the future. But these ideas will be introduced gradually when the timing feels right. Now, question 3 says, I saw a massive watermelon in the trailer. What is this for? And the team responded by saying from early on, they wanted to keep a touch of fantasy in the game world. Alongside everyday rural life, they've added some playful and imaginative elements, and the massive watermelon came from that idea. But beyond just looking cool, you can actually use these mega crops as materials for special furniture. For example, they have a pumpkin carriage vehicle that you can craft from the giant pumpkin, and you might even find some everlasting seeds if you dive deep into the farming system. Apparently, the team is all about adding that extra bit of magic to your harvest, and I absolutely love this. We have seen giant crops in other games, and I think that's always such an exciting surprise and accomplishment to pull off when you're farming. But in my experience, the most I've gotten from that is how cool the crop looks and, maybe a bonus harvest. So I love that in this case, they're connecting this with special furniture. Like I always say, this game has those wish list features. So they take it the extra mile, they connect the dots. They feel like honestly, it feels like the team is made up of gamers who play these games, and they probably have played games where they get a giant crop and they're like, well, wouldn't it be cool if we could use materials from this to craft some special furniture, right? So they're implementing all those awesome things that just make the game feel more rewarding and exciting, which just talking about makes me even more excited for this game, which I already thought I couldn't get any more excited, but here we are. Also, on the topic of farming and gardening, the next question asks if there will be a gardening system for flowers specifically. So the answer is that they have a flower cross-breeding system that allows players to cultivate rare varieties and special color combinations. In addition, they're introducing a bee collection system to support it. So please look forward to exploring this side of farming. I definitely hope that we'll be able to use these flowers with decorating, because I think that's one of my favorite things when, crossbreeding flowers and trying to find new types and color variants. It's always exciting when you can use those in your landscaping and decorations. So fingers crossed for that. Question number 5 asks if there will be many recipes in the cooking system, and do food items have special effects? So the answer for this is absolutely. You can expect a wide variety of dishes, including many inspired by Chinese cuisine and culture. As for food effects, this is a great question. Some meals provide unique buffs. For example, certain dishes make you more popular with animals, so cats and dogs will gather around you asking for food. Let me just say, whatever that dish is, I need to find out immediately, and I'm going to be cooking it in bulk. Because are you kidding me? It'll get the animals to gather around me. That's going to be my entire diet in this game. Now, other meals will actually increase your luck, making arcade games easier to win rewards from. They want the food to feel like a fun part of your daily life, not just a chore. And again, I've said it before, literally already in this video, I'll say it again. These are the things that the team does that take it the extra mile. You know how many games I've played where there's a cooking system that I'm like, okay, I guess it's cute. We can place the food. It's cute to look at. Or okay, it has a buff and it gives me an extra 0.5% chance to keep some of my stamina. Kind of things that I don't. I guess if you're a min-maxer, it could be cool and useful. And sometimes, it's kind of fun, oh, this gave me a speed boost. But I love these really unique ideas that actually impact your gameplay in such a more interesting way than keeping some of your stamina or, having your health drain slower. I love the idea of animals gathering around you, increasing your luck to make winning arcade games easier. Like, this is so cool, and I can't wait to see what other types of unique buffs will be a part of the system. This makes me actually want to cook in the game. Not because I feel like I have to or I should, but because I want to see what the foods will do. So thank you to the team for, it sounds like, making a really interesting cooking system. Now, the next question asks if there will be an FOV slider, which is how close or far your gameplay camera is set. And then they also asked if there are any plans to add a first-person mode, which I thought was interesting because they said that sometimes they feel dizzy when playing. And for me, first-person is when I feel the most dizzy playing, but I guess that just goes to show everyone's so different. Third-person games are when I feel the most at ease, and I personally really love to see what's around me. Like, I love to have that zoomed out view where I can see my surroundings, I can see what my character's doing. I also really appreciate character animations with third-person games. I know doing a third-person game is more of a undertaking from a development perspective than first-person, where there's, just less considerations from that camera perspective. But anyway, I digress. The answer is that during the demo, some players did report feeling dizzy while playing, and in the early access version, they have made significant improvements to address this. So camera-related discomfort can be influenced by factors such as frame rate and field of view, so they carried out a comprehensive round of optimizations. And this should greatly improve overall comfort. As for first-person mode, they currently don't have plans to add one. For simulation and management games, they believe a wider camera perspective provides a better overall experience, which I completely agree with. Anytime, honestly, there's a first-person game, I'm always like, I wish this was in third person. I would love it so much more if it was in third person. There are some first person games that I enjoy, don't get me wrong, and it depends on how it's optimized for sure. The FOV, those are definitely really great points the team made, because that is completely true. Can we turn off motion blur? Like, things like that. There's so many ways that even in a first person game, you can improve your experience, but I am a third person girly, so I'm really happy this is in third person. And then of course we get to appreciate our beautiful fits and customizations and hairstyles and stuff. So of course, though, it's great to hear they've, continued to optimize it. So this should hopefully help a lot. The next question asks if there will be more weather types or beautiful celestial events. The answer is yes, there will be. In addition to rain, we've created special twilight skies and even star-filled sky effects. And I believe this is likely one of the events that they previewed in the latest trailer, where the sky was just filled with beautiful stars and there was bioluminescence in the water. It just looked gorgeous. The team further elaborated by saying that when these effects are combined with certain festivals and celebratory events, the scenery can become especially beautiful. You can rest assured that more weather variations and visual scenes will be added in the future. The next question asks if there will be a lot of furniture at launch because they love decorating. And the answer is, the DIY system is one of the most important features in Starsand Island. Even during the early access stage, they've already provided over 300 pieces of furniture, so you do not need to worry about variety. There will be multiple different furniture styles to choose from, and they also plan to continue adding new styles and new types of furniture through future DLC updates. And the final question for today asks if feedback has been received from the ongoing closed test, and what is the team's main focus in development right now. So the answer for this is that, to be honest, the amount of feedback the team has received during the closed test has far exceeded their expectations. The ideas from their islanders have been truly amazing. Whether it's suggestions for new gameplay features or fine-tuning the overall user experience, the community has shared very thoughtful and detailed input. And over recent days, the team has been carefully reviewing and discussing feedback internally, and they reached a shared conclusion that since islanders have such high expectations and so many great ideas for Starsand Island, it would be a real shame to rush forward and leave these highlights behind. So as a result, their current focus has shifted entirely to responding to feedback and polishing the game in depth. And to honor the spirit of co-creation and to make sure that when you first step onto the island, you truly feel like this is a pastoral fairy tale created together with the community, they believe all of this effort is absolutely worthwhile. So I have to say, I really appreciate how much the team is considerate over player feedback and really wants to create a game that we're going to love. I think it's always interesting to see how developers balance their vision for the game with player feedback and players' visions. And I think it's always beautiful when the outcome of this is, somewhere in the middle. So the game doesn't stray too far from what the team has always envisioned for, their dream game to be, but also so that those playing it will get to enjoy all sorts of features and additions that they would like to enjoy as well. So far from my perspective, I feel like they've been doing a fabulous job at responding to player feedback and, as they said, co-creating this game. And I do think their choice for early access though somewhat unexpected, is probably more in alignment with this spirit of development rather than just simply delaying the game to summer and launching it then. I'm really hopeful that this, shorter early access period will bring even more awesome feedback and opportunities for the developers to create this game again alongside the community. We've definitely seen a lot of really successful outcomes from early access games. And so, just hearing the sentiment they're sharing here really reaffirms to me that this was the best decision they could have made with the existing circumstances. Now, they did also say at the end here, they wanted to thank everyone for sharing so many ideas and questions with the team, and they'll continue working hard to make Starsand Island more comfortable and more enjoyable to play. They also said that they're going to share new updates as soon as they have them, so they'll see us in the next devlog. So it seems like this might actually become a bit of a series. If so, I will absolutely cover it on the channel. As a reminder, I will be streaming Starsand Island on launch day on February 11th, so I can't wait to see you there. So much excellent and exciting information was shared here, so I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments, anything and everything. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and until next time, take care.